You didn't have that in English class. And my English teachers didn't like me, first of all. So, yeah, there wasn't very much, unless it was Black History Month, and then it was the same old
why
thing.
didn't they like you, Elle?
Because I was a smart Black girl. It started off that way in elementary school. I had been reading since I was like 2 years old. And so in elementary school, in like second grade, a teacher tried to tell my parents that I didn't know how to read. Like, she was giving me bad grades. And so my mom pulled me and my sister out of that school, and we went somewhere else. I didn't know what was going on. My mom didn't tell me why we left the school until later on. You know, we were children. And then in my freshman year in high school, I would finish my work early. And I'm talking like 20 minutes early, 30 minutes early, because it was easy and because I like to read. And so my English teacher would get mad that I would finish early and then work on my own stuff. And so she told my parents writing is a distraction for Latrice and she should stop.
Wow.
And I didn't write again until college, even though, you know, because my parents were very supportive. But it was also that thing, because this was back before social media, back before people used to get in trouble for doing Black kids wrong in school. Right. Back when, you know, because now, even now, you don't really have the recourse of the system. Unless you go viral, chances are nothing will get changed.
Absolutely.
And so my parents were like, this is a thing that you don't need, even if it's just for pretend, just for her class. Just don't give her anything to start anything with you for, because she clearly has a problem. And so I kept my love of reading, but I stopped writing until college. And I mean, she was an authority figure, you know. And so that's one of the things, like, a lot of people have stories about how they love this teacher or love that teacher. We had some horror stories with some of our teachers who just didn't like the fact that we were smart, very often the smartest one in the room. Sometimes, depending on the subject, smarter than they were. So they just weren't happy about it.
There goes that blurred again.
We didn't know our place. So that was the main problem, is we didn't know our place.
You know what's so funny is I went to a predominantly Black high school, but it was a magnet high school. I guess that's what they call, I don't know if that's an old term or what, but charter high school. And I used to read whenever we would, you know how when the teacher asked the class to read, you read the first page, the next person reads the second page, the next person reads the third. So whenever it would get to me, I would read, like, I would act out all of the scenes that I would act it out. And if it was a narration part, I would read it as a newscaster. And Ms. Johnson said, "No more Tammi McCall, no more. Get out of my class." And I was like, you just don't want Black people to be able to succeed in this world. Now here's the gotcha to this whole story. My teacher was Black. So Ms. Johnson was Black.
Wow.
And I would move from seat to seat so that I could always be the one reading next, because nobody else in the class wanted to read. So I would move to the next row and read in that row. She would look up and be like, "Tammi McCall, what the hell?" I'm like,
I would get in trouble because I would be pages ahead. Like, I would read ahead because everybody else read slow. So I would read ahead. And it would get to my part, and I'm like 10 pages ahead, and I'm like, what page are we? So it would look like I wasn't paying attention. Right. But in fact, I'm the moved on.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Elle, you have created a hashtag, Women of Color. Please.
It's, what women of color writers here? What hashtag? What WOC writers here? What that came out of is, I want to say 2017, maybe 2016. I don't know. It feels like decades ago at this point. There was a author, a writer. She had started a hashtag, What Women Writers Here, because somebody had walked up and said to her, "I'm so glad I didn't know you were a woman before I picked your book up. I would have never read it." And so a bunch of women authors were talking about, you know, what they have heard at conventions or from friends or from, you know, whoever. And so I started talking about how, this is all true, but there's another layer for women of color. We hear things like, we have our Black girl book for the year. We're only allowed one. We can only publish one. Doesn't matter the genre. It doesn't matter the age category. We have our one Black girl book for the year. We have our one Asian boy book for the year. We have our one Mexican child book for the year. That's it.
As if there
Or
can't be several books published.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like because there are studies now, they've been going on for a minute. And when I say a minute, I mean like 5 years or so. Compared to publishing, it's very new. But in 2018, in children's publishing, because I publish, I write books for young adults, for teens, because I didn't see myself on the cover as a kid. And so I was like, I'm gonna be damned if it's gonna be my nieces and nephews who don't see themselves. So we in 2018 there were 3,000 something books published for kids, for young adult, middle grade, and less than 300 of them were about Black people, and less than 200 of them were written by Black people.
Mm-hmm.
And so for that whole year, in science fiction and fantasy in particular, hundreds of books, I was one of 4 books written by Black women for the whole year. And so the things that we hear that we have to put up with were completely different. And so we started talking about it, and it just kind of took off. And it became its own thing, because I was just complaining, which is what I do on Twitter. I complain about racism. So
they ain't kicked you off yet, put you in Twitter jail yet?
They haven't put me in Twitter jail. I've been lucky that I have. I mean, because again, nothing I say is wrong. So, well, okay. Nothing I say is factually incorrect.
Okay.
Because I talk about facts. I'm not going to ever say that I'm not ever wrong, because that's just humorous. But when I talk about facts and history, I have history to back me up. So.
That's wonderful.